Okay, guys, welcome to another Grubb Cast, a show I've been waiting to do for a long time, and we're doing it on St. Patrick's Day. So, let me get over here and do this real quick, and then we got a great guest waiting in the background. Uh, um, on our sponsors, Fish Sticks Rods, they was just in Louisiana at a show down there. Guys, get with me, man. I got a forward facing sonar rod, and man, do I love it. But yeah, Fish Sticks Rods, get with me. We'll get you some. It's that time of year. Um, Hook and Donkeys. I got people questioning Hook and Donkeys plastics. I got baits I'm going to give away tonight for the trivia question. I'll do that. Actually, I'll show you the baits right now. They are the 3-inch brush hog and the red crawl. I'll do that after we get done with Andy. I don't want to keep him on here while we're doing all that. So, Sanborn Builders, decks, porches, uh, remodeling houses, painting, you name it, they'll do it for you. Ace Hardware down on Richland Avenue. You can get bang bang sticks. You can get plumbing, electrical, uh, you name it. They Blue Rock Bait and Tackle even down at Ace Hardware. Hobbs Roofing up in Akron, Ohio. If you need some roofing, get a hold of Hobbs Roofing in Akron, Ohio. Canton area more than Akron. Pizza Stop out here in Albany. I'm going to start doing another giveaway once a month out for the Pizza Stop with the receipt. We'll start that up probably in April. Southern Ohio Sanitation. If you're getting ready to have a party outside, whatever, you can get you some Porta Johns, or if you need your septic tank pump, get a hold of Josh at Sanitation Ohio or Southern Ohio Sanitation. And then Ron Williams, Sons Construction. You name it, he can do it. Ron is the man to get that stuff done. So with got a bunch of yous on here already. I knew that would be that way tonight. So let's bring Andy on to the show. Everybody, I want to welcome the TBF national champion, Andy Fry. How you doing, Andy?
What's going on, everybody? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Well, give us a little background on you, Andy.
So just some quick background for anybody that's not familiar with me. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Grew up there. Started fishing actual like 8-hour full tournaments when I was 5 years old. Dad was patient enough somehow to keep a little young crazy kid in his boat for the whole tournament. So um, started fishing ever since I was 5 years old. I just turned 38 not too long ago, so that's a long time to be in a bass boat and everything. I went to Hocking College for 2 years, and then went down to West Virginia University. I actually was on the WVU's fishing team for the one semester. Um, didn't get to fish any tournaments because I graduated that same time, but I joined the team, went to a couple meetings. So that was kind of cool, but didn't get to fish any tournaments. Came back to Ohio and started fishing tournaments again, and here I am, man.
Now you won it 2 years ago, right? Or was it a year ago?
2023. Yeah.
2023. Yep. Okay.
Yep. 2 years ago, won
2 years.
the TBF national championship. That was
Living the
awesome.
dream. Living
Yeah.
the dream.
Yep.
And that was, you know, that was something, and it still is something that I would love to be able to do, just to even get to go fish it, not
I
to
tell
win
you
it.
that tournament alone is awesome for the everyday average angler. That is your Bassmasters Classic. Like you get treated like kings in there. You go to a banquet, they give you a travel stipend, they get you a hotel to stay up in. You get to kind of hang out with everybody that qualified. There's usually two or three other people from Ohio that you can kind of hang out with and bounce ideas off of and practice with and stuff. And yeah, I've made some pretty good memories in the couple tournaments I've made doing that one. Absolutely.
Now you also back in the, did you ever make the state team when we had the state team?
I made the last state team.
So
It
you went
was
out to South Dakota.
yeah, it was like 2016 or 20, I think it was 2016 when they changed.
Yep.
But yeah, I made the very last. It was the first time I tried, but I made the very last state team. So we went out to Lake Oahe in South Dakota. um, that was a haul. It was like 22-hour drive, and me and the guy I was with, we drove straight there. We just kind of alternated after bathroom or gas fill ups or whatever, and we drove straight there. And I think I got there around noon, and I felt like I was drunk the whole time. That I was so discombobulated from that long of a drive. Like I couldn't hardly stand up on the boat. Like it was rough. So I really only had like a day and a half of practice out there on that ginormous body of water. But that was fun.
And the wind blows just a little bit there, don't it?
Oh my gosh. There's nothing to it's like you're on the surface of the moon, dude. It's like you're on Mars. Like there's no trees, there's no nothing. It's all yeah. It was definitely something. I'm glad I
Well,
got to experience it, but man, that was brutal.
and when he says there's nothing there, we run out of gas or was going to run out of gas in our truck pulling the boat and had to go to the boat marina to get gas because there wasn't no gas stations.
There's
You had to drive
nothing.
all the
There
way
was
back to
nothing.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing
That
there.
I always say I don't have nothing in South Dakota I want to go back to. For.
It actually turned out pretty cool because I've got some family that's out in South Dakota. So my mom and grandma ended up flying out and met me. Um, and they kind of stayed there and met some long lost family members they haven't hung out with in a while. And then kind of come watch me at weigh in, suck it up pretty bad. But and then I got to do a road trip with my mom, my grandma, and me back home. Yeah, for the 20 some hour drive.
They're having a youth championship there this year.
I saw that.
It's like, man, that ain't a place to put kids on.
Yeah. If the weather's nice, it'll be amazing. But that place, that was back when I had my 18-foot Skeeter. That was not the place to have that kind of a boat.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I miss those though. I was on three, I think three state teams, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. And I'm gonna at some point I'm gonna make the national championship. Come
Yeah,
hell or
man.
high water. If I can get all you guys to quit showing up to tournaments, I'm going.
I it's awesome, dude. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that state team was really cool. You know, we all kind of got together at the end of every practice night and kind of bounced ideas off each other and traded notes and got to kind of do like meetings. And I still talk and hang out with a lot of the guys that I qualified there with. And yeah, that was a lot of fun because it was like 10 or 12 teams that would go out for that. So as opposed to now where I think it's usually top two or three from Ohio. But
Yeah,
that was definitely a lot of fun. It was really cool to meet new people and hang out and everything.
yeah. My first one was Wisconsin. I went to
Oh
Wisconsin,
yeah.
fished at Wisconsin. I think that was in '06, I believe, was
Where was
Wisconsin.
that at?
Um, Lake Winnebago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we fished Lake of Winnebago, and then you had the Fox River and all that. Me and Bob Cox practiced together.
Okay.
He was a non-boater, and I was a non-boater, and I took my boat,
Oh
and
nice.
yeah, and we practiced the whole week together. So it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. Yeah, but well, more about you. Where, yeah, talk about the national championship. I know you've talked to a lot of people on a lot of shows about it, but go ahead and hit up here.
Yeah. that's kind of crazy to say and think of. I actually have been able to kind of tell the story a couple times, but
Just
I'll tell it. I'll tell it every chance I get, dude. I that was a lot of fun. So kind of starting the beginning of the TBF championship, you gotta even just to get there is a feat in itself. You're fishing the regionals, which is the top 6 or 7 county. Everybody kind of joins in and fishes a tournament, and you catch a fish there. You qualify for the state team or the state championship. You fish state championship. If you do well enough, you qualify for the national semifinals. And there's usually probably 70, 80 boats in the national semifinals. And depending on how many people from Ohio fish it, usually only the top 2 or 3 qualify for the TBF national championship. Um, and that was actually the second one that I had qualified for. I qualified for one in 2019 at Kentucky Lake, which was kind of cool. But I finished second in Ohio to qualify for the 2023 TBF championship. And once you get there, so you're fishing against hundreds of people to get to that point. But once you're in the TBF championship, you're 1 out of 52, 1 out of 54, 1 out of 49 shot. Like the odds are awesome. You have a legitimate shot to be able to win that tournament, even if you're because they only have 1 or 2 what you would consider like locals, right? Depending on how many people qualified from there. So you have an actual shot of being able to win that or do pretty well in there. And that's how you can qualify to fish the All American and the Toyota Series Championship were 2 tournaments that I was able to fish by winning that also, which are 2 bucket list tournaments to be able to do. So I felt extremely blessed to be able to have that kind of opportunity. Um, but I actually qualified for that tournament out of Sandusky Bay. um, and I qualified, finished third overall, second in Ohio, I think is how it laid out. But all largemouth on Lake Erie basically. And the weather was good enough to be able to go out on the lake. There were lots of people that went out and fished for smallmouth. You were able to go out on the lake both days. And I ran to West Harbor both times, and I was able to qualify with all largemouth. The guy that won that tournament was all smallmouth, but then it got really tight. Second, third, fourth, all the way to the top 10 were all really close weights because most of those were all largemouth, if I remember right. Um, but when they announced that the 2023 TBF championship was on Lake of the Ozarks, I was pretty psyched. That was one that I'd never been to before, but for some reason I kind of had a good feeling about it. I was pretty excited. Um, and one of the kind of things that lined up pretty well was where I work at now. You can have your birthday off, and it just so happened that year my birthday landed on a Friday. So I took that Friday off, and me and my buddy Aaron, that's in our club, Aaron Mayer, we went out and we went Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and did a trip out there as kind of like a practice tournament before it went off limits. And we went out there and practiced for 3 days, pre-practice, and the drive there was miserable. It was like 40 degrees. It rained the whole time. I just wanted to get there and have that drive over. It was like 8.5 hour drive. And it was awful. When we finally got there, it was like 3 o'clock or so. And I had set the GPS to go to the launch ramp. Just I was feeling froggy in the morning and thought that where we might go. But when we got there, I kind of looked over at him and was like, dude, do you want to go? Do you want to go fishing? Do you want to just go back to the hotel and have a couple cold pops or something and kind of game plan for tomorrow? And he was all for it and was like, all right, we can do that. And the crazy part is that 3 or 4 hour practice day, that day right there is where I found the fish that won me that tournament.
Oh,
Um, we went out and fished for 3 or 4 hours. He ended up with like 11 or 12 pounds. I had probably 14, 15 pounds with my biggest five. And that was the spot. We caught them on crankbaits that day, and fast forward to the tournament, I caught them on spinnerbaits in there because things had obviously changed a couple weeks, kind of progressed. But that was the location and the spots and the areas that I ended up winning the tournament out of. So as bad as I didn't want to, it was Aaron that was that was with me that kind of egged me on and said, "No, we can go. We'll do it. We'll do it all right." And that ended up being the spots that won it for me.
Now, did you
Um,
fish that same spot all 3 days?
Yeah, so the area that we fished was obviously kind of close to the ramp because I wasn't about to make a run in 40 degrees and raining kind of day. So it was fairly close to the ramp. And for the first 2 days of the actual tournament, I the first day I ran to a spot that was probably 8 or 10 miles away and finished the day in a couple of the cuts that I had found. So I only had like 2 hours left in those cuts, but I think I only had two fish with like an hour and a half or 2 hours left, and I rolled in that cut and caught 4 or 5 keepers real quick to get me a limit and call out one, and did kind of the same thing the second day. Ran out to that first spot, and then an hour and a half or 2 hours left. I came back to those cuts that I had caught them before in the last little bit, and caught an extra 6 or 7 keepers that day. And on day three, I told my co-angler that was paired up with me, I'm like, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna go right over there. I ain't making that 10-mile run again. Um, so we stayed in those areas that I had found, and I caught fish all day on day three. It was one of those like magical days that you just like hope and pray for. And the awesome part of it was I had a camera boat with me. The guy was taking pictures, and then I actually had a camera guy in the boat with me, and I had a limit. You can actually still watch that video on the Pursuit channel, but at 8 o'clock, I look at the camera and I'm like, it's 8 o'clock and I got five already. Like it was amazing. And by that point at 8 o'clock, I had like 14, 15 pounds. And at that point, I had already won the tournament. Um, so everything else on top of that was just gravy. Was just gravy. It was such a cool experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean,
Yeah,
just to be there and be able to. Now that is that. Now that's not the year. Is that the year Dylan fished
yeah,
from our club?
yeah, yep.
Yeah, okay.
And he
Yep.
did he did really well too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
For being 18 years old, for sure.
right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
I almost forgot to say happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. I got me a green beer in here, so cheers to all
I got a
y'all. What's
green.
that?
I got a green water.
There you go.
Gr-
Nice.
Green apple water,
There you go. My
and
daughter
you put
gave
a
me
green
this.
shirt
She
on.
had to. I had to make sure to show that off to everybody. So yeah, that's why I got a necklace on here.
Mhm. Now, when you went on to the All American, where was it at?
That was Lake Hartwell.
Oh,
Yeah, and so that was in June or July. I can't remember. So that was a quick turnaround. Like you qualify for that by winning. Well, you qualify for the All American by finishing the highest in your region at the TBF championship. So even if you don't win the tournament, if you're in the highest in the Northeast division or whatever, I thought we're like the Midwest division or something. If you finish highest in that division and qualify for day three, that qualifies you to be able to fish the All American. And that was on Lake Hartwell, and that was only like a 2 month turnaround. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of gear up and get ramped up and figure that out. But that is an awesome lake. I don't know if you guys watched the invitationals that was going on there a couple days ago, but that lake is awesome. But that spotted bass and the blueback herring thing is crazy. That was something. Yeah, it was frustrating and crazy and fun all in one.
them spots are a different breed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
especially
They're
down
they're
south.
aggressive. They're aggressive, but not at the same time. And I was in like 15th place at the end of the first day. I had like 13 pounds or something, if I remember right, and could not for the life of me figure out how to adjust on the second day and drop down to like 37th or something like that. But that was a ton of fun, and that was a really cool experience. Just that happened by winning that other tournament. So I hope to get back there again one day. But we'll see. That was awesome though.
Well, this year's schedule, this fits you real good.
The BFL
Uh,
schedule.
no, the uh,
Oh yeah,
uh, OBF, because
yeah.
we're at
On
Indian. You love
yeah.
Indian, and then
Yep.
we're at Alum, and you crush them at Alum. So
I've done decent at both spots. So yeah, that I'm
decent.
definitely I'm definitely drooling at the thought of getting to either of those tournaments. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
absolutely.
liking the Indian. I'm liking the
Yeah,
Indian Lake one. And
yeah, that one fits you pretty well.
this year, you know that the winner of the championship, winner of the boater and co-angler, goes straight to the national championship.
Yeah, I forget who told me that, but that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a huge perk, and that doesn't
yeah.
take away for the people that qualify through the semifinals, right? So we could
No,
potentially send one extra person.
you will send one extra team. Yep, we
Yeah,
get to send an
that's
extra team.
that's awesome.
Yep,
So that'll probably mean that there's more at the championship, but you can't win it if you ain't there. So I
that's it.
say, bring it on.
Well, what I say is what it's going to do is the guys like say for instance me, I'm qualified through the club to fish the semi nationals next year, not fish
Hmm.
nothing else. But I'm going to fish Indian
Oh yeah,
because
it's
that's a
another
chance
shot,
to
man.
another shot to make the nationals, which I fish them
Absolutely.
anyhow. But still, that's going to bring the guys out of the clubs that just sit back and go to the semi nationals. They're
Hmm.
crazy not to go to the Indian and fish it,
Right.
the championship, just
Why not?
because. Yeah, that's another opportunity. One guy gets to go on to the nationals,
Yeah,
so
and
that'll
totally skip that semifinal. So you skip. You don't have to worry about that $200 entry fee. You don't have to worry about um, all the practice and everything at the semifinals. That's a heck of a deal. That was exciting to hear. Absolutely.
yep, yeah. So now all you fish is a regional and a chance at the championship to go right to the
Yeah,
national.
and you're
So
good to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
but now where's you guys' regional at?
The regional is at Delaware, if
Delaware.
I remember right. Yeah, Delaware,
Everybody
and
ought to
then
be catch a keeper there.
yeah, I I haven't fished there in a couple years. I heard that it's been pretty tough the last year or two on Delaware, and I don't know enough to kind of talk about it or anything like that. But
Mhm.
Delaware is usually a place that you can at least catch a keeper and should allow you to move on. Yeah, I hope a lot of people are able to do that because yeah, that's an awesome chance to be able to fish that.
I I got a spot I guarantee you can go catch a 12-inch fish.
I got a
Guaranteed.
couple spots I feel like that at least. I haven't been there, but I still feel like that.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, now a little bit
Where's
about the
where's your regional at?
Rocky Fort.
Okay.
Rocky. Yep.
That one's not a guarantee. That place can
Mm,
be temperamental.
well, we're having it the 3rd and 4th of May, so the
Okay.
girls should be right up wallering on the
Yeah.
bed. It's
Yeah,
going.
that should
to
be
I'd say it's going to probably be 17, 18 pound days
yeah.
for
Oh
the winter.
yeah. Dude, the winter, yeah, you'll be pushing 20 pounds each day.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That
But
place has got them.
we got a few tournaments going on. They've scheduled a couple tournaments on top of us there uh, with permits, but it is what it is. But it'll Rocky will give out some big ones.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
the Toyota Series, where did you
Yeah.
go to it at?
Yeah, so when you win that TBF championship, you get the boat. They give you some cash, but another perk that they do is they pay $5,000 towards whatever entry fee you want. Back in 2019 and before that, it was if you win the TBF championship, they give you a boat and a truck for a year, and you got to fish the FLW tour.
Yes.
Uh, After the split and all kind of craziness happened in 2019 and the 2020 and all that, they kind of maneuvered around a little bit. So if you win the TBF championship now, they're living the dream package is you get a Ranger 520R. Um, so I won that boat. I sold it. Never saw it. I didn't want to see it. It wouldn't fit my garage. There was no. I didn't. I didn't need to see it because then I'd have wanted to keep it. Uh, but so you get a little bit of cash, and they pay $5,000 towards whatever tournament circuit you want to fish. Um, and I had tried to see if I could work out fishing the invitationals, um, and it just wouldn't work out with my work schedule and everything. So I had them pay my way into the Northern Toyota Series last year. So I basically got to fish the Toyota Series for $100 because the $1,700 entry fee. I think it was like an extra $100 I had to cover. So fishing that basically for free last year was um, really freeing. Like I didn't have a lot of pressure. Didn't really feel super stressed to fish it. I just kind of wanted to go and see how it was because I had never fished. It was the Potomac River, um, Lake Champlain, and then St. Lawrence River. And I had fished those three places before, but never as a boater. So I was just gonna kind of see what happens and see where it takes me. The two goals that I had set for myself were cash a check, and like the epitome of awesomeness would be if I was able to qualify for the Toyota Series Championship like a second time. And I actually accomplished both of those, which was really cool. I finished 20th on Lake Champlain, which was absolutely amazing. And then I finished 25th in points overall. So top 25 in Toyota Series division qualifies for the Toyota Series Championship. So I was able to fish that for a second time. But those three tournaments last year that I fished were awesome. The first one was the Potomac River. That one was kind of tough for me. The way that it laid out, I was only able to get 3 days of practice because they had it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if I remember right. So my the driving day was Saturday, and I didn't get to start fishing until Sunday, Monday, Tuesday were my three practice days. And one of the days the wind blew so hard it kind of screwed everything up that I wanted to try and fish. So I really only had two practice days on the Potomac River, and that one I kind of stunk on. I got like 107th or something. I didn't weigh a limit either day. That was kind of frustrating. So right off the bat, it kind of crushed my dreams. Right? Like,
Yeah.
what am I?
Yeah.
What am I even doing here? What am I trying to do? But the next one was Lake Champlain, and my God, what a fishery! Have you ever been there before?
Nope, not champagne. Nope.
Holy cow! You could literally catch a fish doing whatever you wanted, however you wanted to. Um, it was absolutely amazing, and the spot that I ended up fishing most of the time, it was a community hole. But I had found that spot on like day three of practice. I had pulled in. It was just a pinch point. There's only a couple of them on the lake, but it was just a pinch point that there was just like an inlet, and there was some current rolling around there. And I pulled in there with a glide bait because I was using that just to try and see if I could pull up some big fish and see kind of what was around. And I threw my glide bait along the little point there, and had a 4 pound smallmouth come up and just torpedo it. As I'm fighting this thing back, it looked like the whole bottom rose. Like there was just a ginormous school of smallmouth that was with it. And I was like, boop, waypoint. And literally, day one, I caught most of my fish there. Day two, I caught all of my fish there. And day three, I caught all of my fish spot locked on that one little inlet. And Kyle Cordiana, the guy that won that tournament, was 25 yards on the other side of the point from me, spot locked and just steadily whacking on them. So there was smallmouth there. It was unreal. At one point, I think on day two when I rolled in there, there was, I think I counted 35 boats in that area, and it's just a little inlet. Like I could barely idle through all these guys, and it took me forever to try and find a spot. But
Mhm.
I just was patient and kind of waited my turn, and there were a couple people that would leave, and I kind of weaseled my way in through there and hit it on spot lock and just cast it around and caught. I caught so many fish I broke my spinning reel. The gears were stripped. I couldn't reel it anymore.
That's a lot of fish.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. And then the St. Lawrence River, we finished. I finished 50th, I think, in that one, and that was a lot of fun.
They say it's a fishery.
That one, so that one's tough because if you're not familiar with trying to do the back trolling, drifting, and that kind of strong current, that can really beat you up. But luckily, all of our trips for the national semifinal going up to the Detroit River um, was kind of practice for going up there. But it's like the Detroit River on steroids. The river is giant. The current is way stronger. The fish are crazy. Yeah.
Well, it's 9 mile an
So
hour nonstop on the Detroit.
yeah, there's a couple places that it's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah, you better have some good batteries if you want to spend the whole day on the Detroit River.
Oh yeah.
Just sit
Yeah,
cranking.
I actually ran out of battery power on days 2 and 3, being spot locked at that little inlet on Champlain, and had to go in like 45 minutes early both days because I ran out of juice. So
Yeah.
that was disappointing.
And you still got 20th place.
Yeah, yeah, and I uh, I had some live well issues um, at that one and ended up with a pound and a quarter of fish penalties, or a pound and a quarter of penalties, which would have boosted me up to 13th place at
Ooh,
Champlain if I wouldn't have had those issues.
and
So that
that's
was kind of
probably
frustrating.
quite a bit of check difference there. 20th
It
to
was a
30th.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt it. Yeah.
Now, are you fishing the Northern again this year?
Hmm. Yep. Yep. They switched the schedule a little bit this time. They've got Champlain in June, the end of June, so that'll probably be a smallmouth spawning beatdown if I had to guess. Um, and then they got the St. Lawrence River in August, which is pretty close to when we were there last year, and then Potomac in September.
Now, the Potomac's tidal, right? Tidewater.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, and that place is the biggest mine, what ever. It's the tides are. I think I put too much emphasis on the tides or thought too hard about the tides. But yeah, it was a really cool place. That was the one I was looking forward to most because that was like largemouth. That's what I wanted to go for. And just didn't work out. But I'm ready for some redemption this year. Yeah.
I'm going to Gunnersville. I'm going as a boater in May.
Are you?
Yep.
Okay.
Or June. May. Yeah, I'll go down
In
May
May.
9th, I leave. Yep. I'll be there for a
Is that
week.
a Plains division?
Central.
Which one is Central? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they switched to Central around this year. They're fishing Chickamauga tomorrow. Starts
Okay.
first day of the tournament at Chick.
Gotcha.
And then it used to be Gunnersville, then either we fished Del Holler, we fished Smith Lake, fished Smith Lake twice, and then we went to Chick at the end. And
Yeah.
this year they did Pickwick first,
Oh, okay.
and then Chick, and then Gunnersville.
Nice.
So I'm excited to go down in May in Gunnersville. That's going to be. I think it'll be.
Yeah.
They should be just coming back off the beds.
Yep. Yep. That'll
So
be post spawn, but they should still be shallow. That'll be right in your wheelhouse, man.
Mhm. I like to get a
Nice.
little shallow.
Yeah.
It,
You've been
and
known to.
I fished. I fished 2 years as a non-boater in the Toyota series, and then we went down. Oh, it's probably 10 years ago. We went down and spent a week, rented a house, and spent a week on Gunnersville.
Nice. Yeah.
So I know a little bit of the area, especially around Goose Pond.
Okay.
So,
There's a reason why all those pros move and live at Gunnersville now. That's for
mhm.
sure. That place, I've heard that place is awesome.
Yeah, it's. But I tell you what I learned as a co-angler, and that's why I tell people we're never too good to go as co-anglers because you learn. I learned
Hmm.
that uh, when I was there 10 years ago, it's a wonder we didn't tear boats up because
Yeah.
it's a lot of shallow ridges that you didn't know. You running. It's like
Mm,
Kentucky Lake. You're running
yeah.
down the lake and you think, oh, that's all right. Well, it ain't. It's only about 2 inches of water. So
Yeah.
you better know how to use your graphs.
All right.
Run.
Yeah. Have a good
So,
mapping chip.
yep. Uh, but yeah, I'm excited to get to at least say I fished a boat. I wanted to go to Smith. I'd love to go as a boater to Smith because
How's that lake like?
ho, 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 ho. Now it's deep, but
Okay.
spots. I mean, and when I say spots, you're talking. It takes 3 and 4 pound spots to even get in a check. So
Nice.
it's and a spot. If people don't know what a spot, they're like a largemouth that fight twice as hard as a smallmouth.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
But
Yeah. They're a lot of fun. They don't get a lot of opportunity to fish for those around here. And the spots you catch here are the little Ohio River.
exactly,
Yeah.
river
Eh,
limit.
yeah. Nothing compared to what those guys are out there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I mean, there's places that you're fishing at 50 foot.
Really?
Uh, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And but now the one year I fished with a guy, he was skipping swim bait underneath docks, and I still talk. I've never seen a guy that could skip swim bait as good as this guy. I mean, he was skipping through ladders, the little ladder runs that you go up. He would skip between them two
Yeah.
up under the dock. I'm like, I sat back there just going, wow,
Yeah. How do
and,
you
and
even
he
do that?
and he'd tell me he's like, watch, 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 and when the swim bait would come out of the dock, it looked like Jaws. There was 3 or 4 of them just following it, and then next thing you
Oh,
know, one of them would just attack it. I'm like, that
uh,
is, it was cool. It was
yeah.
very entertaining.
Just
But
getting out of Ohio and fishing, man, is awesome. Like, what are we doing in Ohio, dude? Like that, it
and
is brutal everywhere you go.
I was that far of headed to Norman this weekend. Leave on
Yeah.
Friday and go down and fish Friday or Saturday and Sunday and come back home Sunday night. But
Hmm.
things ain't lining up that I can pull the. I got a little thing going on with my boat. I'll be showing off next week. So,
Yeah.
uh, and I just it ain't gonna. I'm probably gonna go to Burr Oak and fish this weekend.
Not the same.
Not the same. I don't. I had a pretty good Friday night up there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a real
Nice.
good Friday evening. Yeah, they
Nice.
was eating.
Yeah.
But
I was able to get out to Indian Lake on Tuesday for a little bit, and they were biting then. I was surprised. I had a good time.
yeah, I wanted to go to Buckeye yesterday, but it ain't up yet. So of course I drove to Tappan, or not Tappan. I drove to Seneca, and it wasn't up. So then I went to Tappan, and
Yeah.
Tappan we got on Tappan. I only had one small keeper, but I learned a lesson. I tell everybody when your phone goes off and gives you a warning, you might want to listen to it
I saw the
because
video.
80-mile-an-hour winds and we sitting in that bridge.
Oh my god.
It's the worst weather I've ever been in fishing.
Gee.
And I was like, I hope it settles down at some point because I'm not going to be able to sit in here all night.
Yeah, right?
It, it went through pretty quick and we was able to get loaded up and drive a mile away from the lake and the sun was shining.
That's how it always
So
is.
I looked at John and said, "We can go to Wolf Run. We're driving right by it on the way home." He's like, "Okay." So we went to Wolf Run and put in and fished 3 hours there. So we
Nice.
we had we had a good day of fishing yesterday.
Nice.
But uh, well, anything else you want to shout out at or tell us about what you're? I mean, you are somebody posted on here a little bit ago that Carol Burcher said Andy sounds like a damn good fisherman. He's a hell of a fisherman. I'm telling you, I fished against him for years, and he's a
Yeah,
stick.
it's crazy. I've been doing. I'm trying to scroll through the see if there's any comments or anybody want to ask any questions or anything. Definitely fire them away. But yeah, I mean, I've been fishing tournaments since I was 5 years old. So that's a there's guys that I fish with now still that have known me since I was 3 foot tall. um, One kind of crazy story about that is I used to back when before I could even drive. Um, Obviously, Dad would take me to the tournaments that were like a club tournament that he could take me with. We had a little youth division that I was a part of. Um, but there was a Sunday morning pot tournament that happened every Sunday that alternated between Griggs and O'Shaughnessy. And on the tournaments or the weekends that Dad was doing something else that I couldn't tag along with him on, my mom would actually get up and drive me to Griggs or O'Shaughnessy, whichever the tournament was on. Sight unseen. I was like 12. I wasn't coordinating with anybody, but right? But
Yeah,
we would drive out. She would take me there at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would just kind of hang out with my fishing poles by the tournament director, the guy that was taking the money, and see if anybody needed a partner to fish with. And I would just tag along with whoever wanted a little kid to go fishing with them. So yeah, the drive and passion is definitely there, and I've been doing it for quite a while.
here's a question for you, and I'll put it up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Sa- Sandy Detweiler. I'm going to. Can you read it?
Yeah, yep. Going to be as a
You got it.
co-angler on the championship. First off, congrats. I remember that. I remember your bags and everything. You did awesome there. That was not necessarily an absolute brutal tournament or anything, but it was tough. The fishing was not easy then. So definitely congrats on being able to qualify and make it there. Any advice? So I would say number one, just try and take it in. I know when I was younger, I would have been so amped up and geeked up and psyched out of my gourd and just stressed out and probably would have ended up being obviously it'd have been fun, but probably would have taken a lot of the fun out of it. So the biggest thing is just take it in, enjoy it. They like I said, they treat you like kings in that tournament. Um, just soak it all in. Try and meet and talk to as many people as you can. Go in with an open mind. Just know that you may not get an open shot at first cast at everything that they're going for, but at any and all times, if live scope, and I hate using that word, if live scope has ever taught us anything, there are bass and fish all around. So even if you're out in the middle of nowhere in Yahoo land, you're around a bass somewhere. So just keep the confidence up, keep the drive going, stay alert, stay focused, and you know that at any point there's going to be a couple bites that can be had around wherever. Even if you draw a Yahoo from wherever, you definitely have a chance at getting some bites. The biggest thing is, yeah, just keep the focus. Try and learn from whoever you're able to fish with. One of the biggest things that I feel like was a huge benefit for me is I fished as a co-angler from 5 until I didn't buy my first boat until 23. So I fished as a co-angler that whole time, most of the time with my dad. So I know how to throw a tube, but 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 I fished as a co-angler, met as many people as I could, learned from a ton of people. So just soak it all in, man, um, and just be ready for whenever, however it might happen. The biggest thing I always tried to do when I was a co-angler is I always tried to either obviously fish something completely different than what my boater was doing. So if he's throwing a buzz bait, I'm going to try a crank, just something completely different, water column or anything, or at least a step down in finesse approach. So if he's flipping a jig, I'll throw a tube. If he's throwing a tube, I'm going to throw a shaky head. If he's throwing a shaky head, I'm going to throw a Ned rig. Something a step down, or you can go the opposite way too, right? Just a different approach than what your boater's doing. And yeah, good luck, man. That's awesome.
I'm gonna just as my experience as a co-angler at the Toyota series is don't get caught up in what your boater's doing. Fish what you're doing. Just stay with your stuff. It if anymore if I fish a co-angler in the Toyota series, I'm probably gonna take two rods, a shaky head and a wacky worm, and just
Yeah.
I've watched too many of them guys out there just dragging them behind the boat and catching fish.
Hmm.
Here's another question for you. You'll like this one.
Is that the same one?
No, no, that's Donovan Workman.
Is
He's
are they
asking
are
a
they both
question.
are they both going to the same championship?
Yes, Donovan's a boater.
He's a boater. Okay,
Yeah, he got the boater
nice.
spot.
So on the boater side, the biggest, I guess, detriment that I've had fishing as long as I have is I've fished mostly Ohio. Right, the lakes are this big compared to going. I don't remember where the championship is. Um, I can't recall, but so I have a hard time seeing the whole lake. Um, and that's been kind of the biggest thing I'm going to try and work on and practice myself going out to on the Toyota series again this year is I need to try and bounce around more, see the whole lake, try and find something that's in my comfort zone, to where I will have confidence at all times at what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm throwing. The best that I've done in any of these tournaments, or no, okay, the best ones that I've done in any of these tournaments are when I've been able to find something that fits what I'm comfortable with. Um, Lake of the Ozarks, I was throwing a spinner bug. If anybody knows me, I love throwing spinnerbait. That is my jam. And so at every cast I was making, I felt like I was going to catch fish. It was just that was it. So the biggest thing is try and move around to find what you're trying to what you're comfortable with, what you're looking for. But obviously, don't run around the whole entire time. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed myself. Ohio, you can just put the trolling motor down and go, and most of the lakes you can fish like half of in a day because they're so small. But the lakes that we go to outside of Ohio, they're so giant that it's yeah, it's hard to be able to see the entire lake or even a big portion of the lake. So that's big one big thing I noticed, at least fishing the few outside of Ohio that I've done. What do you think,
Yeah.
Tony?
Well, most of the lakes, like you said, down south, one cove is probably two lakes in Ohio.
Right.
Just one
The
cove.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cove that I was fishing in was twice the size of Allen Creek, the Lake of the Ozarks. It was twice the size of Allen Creek. It was ginormous.
Well, I have been to Norman probably 15 times. Now, some of them's been a week and some's only been 2 or 3 days. I still ain't never seen the whole lake. And I
It's
don't think
incredible.
that lake is so huge. I don't know that I ever will
Right.
because it's huge, but I love
Yeah.
fishing it. I like Norman.
Yeah. I've heard good things. I've heard you can catch a lot of fish there.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. You can catch a lot.
Yeah.
We found a little spot last year, me and Josh down there in the veterans tournament, and we almost pulled. I think we ended up 13th place
Nice.
against locals down there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you take us that from Ohio that's used to getting like 3 or 4 bites. you take us to a spot where you can catch 30 fish, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we found literally one spot, one cast, and we caught five of our. Yeah, caught all five. We called twice right there in that
nice.
one spot, one rock. You pulled it over,
Yeah,
set the hook. It's like
that's awesome.
unbelievable. Yeah,
But yeah, good luck, man. That again, same for you. That was a tough tournament to qualify for. So best of luck to you guys. Bring them home to Ohio again, both of you.
yeah. I can't remember who is Joe Chubb. I think he's going.
I think so.
I think he's going again this year too. He was on here just a little bit ago. Uh,
Yeah.
you got
I
anything
must have
else?
I must have bored him to death. Sorry, man.
No, no, we're holding a good we're holding a real good crowd this tonight. So
Yeah, no. I appreciate you having me on. If any other questions kind of come up, but
yeah, yeah. Well,
um, I didn't get a chance to scroll through and see if anybody was.
Jeremy said Jeremy was on here and giving you. Andy is one of the most special guys fishing has introduced me to. And you know what? We need to give your dad a shout out. You know,
Oh yeah,
he's your dad is a stick. I've been fishing against it. Well, I looked the other day. I've been fishing the Federation for 22 years. Uh,
yeah,
and yeah, and it, I think your dad probably was fishing back in the beginning of that. So,
yeah. It's definitely been he's definitely been there for a while. And like I said, he introduced me, but he was fishing there these tournaments way before me, and still am. Me and
mm,
him actually won Team of the Year out of the Team Bass Extreme Central Division last year. So he's still going strong. Yeah, huge shout out to Daddy O. He's yeah. Anybody on the lake knows if he's around. That's for sure.
believe it or not, he was quiet up at the Corning show. I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even recognize him until he spoke to me.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, everyone knows he's around. But
Yeah.
I've been lucky to have a huge team of supporters that are awesome and support me. My mom, like I said, I told her that story. Told that story of her driving me out there when I was 12 or 13. Like that's huge. My wife is supports me in any tournament or anything I want to do. So I've been blessed to be surrounded by positivity and everything.
And it takes people don't understand, but it takes a lot. It takes that. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
have stuff in the background when you're trying to get your head in the game.
definitely.
Dave asked that question.
Yeah, think about the Ohio Fishing Hall of Fame. That was cool. I saw that they just created that this year at some point, or maybe towards the end of last year. And I think I saw that he was nominated for it, if I remember correctly. So congrats on that. That's awesome. I think it's really cool for Ohio to have a some way to recognize people like that have been doing what they've been doing for as long, or been able to get to a point in time that um, that they can potentially get recognized in something like the like an Ohio Fishing Hall of Fame or anything. I think a lot of other states have something similar. And yeah, okay, yeah, congrats, man. But yeah, I think that's super cool that they have that now, and hopefully that'll gain some popularity and hold its own and keep going.
I I think Steve Calder got nominated too
Okay,
for it.
nice.
Pretty sure they nominated him too. I
Yeah,
haven't got to see the whole thing yet.
I
Uh,
remember seeing the list of it, and I scrolled through it pretty quick, and I don't remember I don't remember the specifics of it, but yeah, that's really cool to that they have that.
Here's a Doug Wetzel said he fished out of.
Oh man, that was that yeah. That was the year I qualified for the if I remember right, that was the year I qualified for the 2019 TBF championship. And that was out of Sandusky Bay too, and I qualified with all smallmouth. They kept us in the bay on day one, um, and I decided to drive to the complete other side of the bay through all the crazy waves and everything just to get away from everybody. And yeah, if I remember right, that was that one. That was a lot of fun. That little 18-foot skeeter saw some days. That's for sure.
Stuff we put
Yeah.
them through.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, well, hey, I appreciate you coming on. I'm not going to have you stick around for the trivia. I mean, you can stay in the background if you want, but I don't want
Yeah.
to bore you if you,
Yeah.
uh, unless you want to stick on this thing. It's up to you.
Well,
I didn't know what
yeah,
you had
just
planned.
yeah, no, just real quick, I did want to say a couple things.
Okay. Yep.
Um, I uh, I did I did start a YouTube channel. It's not nothing special. I think I'm up to like 100 subscribers right now, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been pretty cool, kind of capturing and editing some of the tournaments that I fished or that kind of thing. But yeah, that I'm surprised that I guess I'm surprised I like it as much. It's pretty cool going back and kind of reliving some of those memories. Um, I had the one that me and Dad won, the TBX on Alum Creek. Um, and he's hooting and hollering in most of the most of the clips, and yeah, it's been really cool to put some of that together. I'm definitely not doing it to try and get YouTube famous or anything like that, but it's been really cool to try and put some of those together and get it out there just to try and see kind of what happens from it. Have you watched any of those?
I watched a few of them that you had on Facebook. I think I
Okay,
have watched a
yeah,
couple on YouTube too. Yep, I have.
yeah.
I'm not, I do a little research at lakes that you might fish through YouTube when you're fishing.
I try not to give the juice away, but
Well,
it's
I,
it's
I,
it's been
I'm
a lot of fun.
I'm that guy. I don't look at what you're doing. I look at what the houses and dogs and stuff
Yeah.
is.
Right. That's actually how I found my starting spot on Lake of the Ozarks. One of the shows I was watching, Dave can say this too. He gave me that idea, but one of the YouTube shows I was watching gave the address away on the boat dock, and I'm like, I want to try that. I need to try that cove.
Real quick, and then I'll let you go. I got a dock that I found at Detroit River, which a lot of people knows this dock, but I found it with Brock Mosley was
Okay.
fishing it in the Elite Series, and I'm like, man, that looks. And I was driving down the Detroit River, and I looked over and I seen the uh, jet or the ski boat, and I'm like, and when I went over and started fishing the dock, the owner come down and he said, the pros was here last week, and the camera guy, I was like, yeah, I knew, seen that boat right there. And
That's
Brock was
awesome.
coming all the way from up at St. Clair
Oh,
and
yeah.
running all the way down there
Yeah.
just to fish that spot.
I kind of similar to what you're talking there. Me and Aaron was up fishing. We were practicing, I think, for the semifinals like a week before or something. And it might have been that same tournament you're talking about, but I fished a little ridge that was on the Detroit River, and I think I caught one that was like 2.5 or 3 pounds or whatever. And we had left there, and not 5 minutes later, a boat came behind us and fished that same little ridge. And I look over there, and it was Jacob Wheeler, and he was fishing. I was like, I already caught that fish. Keep it going. Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm sure he
But
probably caught plenty more.
yeah. Hey, when you get to do it all day, every day, it's a little different than
Right.
us. We got to work some so we can go
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
it.
Definitely.
But okay, well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to go ahead and do this trivia question real quick. If you want to stick around, you want me to put you on backstage.
You go ahead and get me backstage. I got some kiddos. I got to make sure
Okay.
that
Yep.
they're
Get to
asleep
bed.
and in order. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
guys. I
Well, hey,
appreciate y'all for
yep.
having me on and watching.
And your YouTube is just Andy Fry.
It's
Fryer.
Andy Fryer
What's
Fishing.
Andy Fryer Fishing on YouTube?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody wants to get check him out, subscribe to him, give him some followers.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
Andy, I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you guys.
See you. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and do this trivia question. Once again, I'm going to give away the 3-inch little hog in the red crawl. And the question is, got to pull it up here. Now listen to this, because there might be more than one answer, but I need the answer that I'm reading. The first person to win the TBF National Championship as part of FLW TBF Alliance. Who was the first person to win the TBF National Championship as part of the FLW TBF Alliance? First person comments on it. The name that gives me the name, you win the baits. Man, what a good show we had tonight. That Andy's I've always enjoyed fishing against him, not against him, behind him, because I always end up finishing behind him. He's a good stick. He's a great stick. Nope, not Andy Donovan. It's the first person to ever. There you go. Colleen Phillips. Dave Andrews was the first one to ever win the TBF National Championship as part of FLW TBF. Colleen, I'm not shipping the baits to you. I'll give them to your husband. He'll have to give them to you. So, yeah, Colleen got it. And it doesn't, 2007 is when it happened, when he done it. 2007 with the TBF and the FLW at Lake Wiley, and he was skipping docks. Well, I know you're yours. I'll give them to you. I'll bring them out to your house. That way, I don't have to ship them. I hate to ship them when they're right here in Albany. Jack, it said 2007 was when Dave Andrews won it. Guys, I really appreciate everybody being on tonight. We really had a really good turnout. A lot of people watching it. A lot of comments. I appreciate you guys. It means a lot. And, it's really nice to get these people. When I messaged Andy about doing this, he was absolutely 100% ready to go with it. And, they got families and stuff to deal with too. And he takes time out to do this. He was just on another show, the Net Man, I think last week or week before last. But I appreciate everybody. And, it's that time of year, guys. Oh, I had 2 other things here I needed to do real quick. The icebreaker this Sunday, the 23rd, $80 at Burr Oak. Dock 4, get with George or Howard. They are at your boat number. They are going out at boat numbers as you enter. So this Sunday, the icebreaker, March 23rd, get a hold of George or Carr or Howard Miller to get signed up for it. And also, Brian Ikes wanted me to announce that the Region 4 regional meeting is at, I have a Cabela's in Tried Philly, West Virginia. It's Cabela's in West Virginia. starting at 5 p.m. on Saturday, March 22nd. So, Region 4 guys, the regional meeting is at Cabela's in, I think it's Trifil, Trifil. I'm butchering it, but West Virginia, and it starts at 5 o'clock. And if you don't know where it's at, get a hold of Brian Ikes. He's the regional director up there, and he'll get you to where you need to go. So check that out on Saturday, the 22nd. Phil Carver said he made a trip down to Albany tonight to support our great Josh friend. That must be, you must have been out to the hook and donkeys baits, ain't you? Okay, Colleen, I'll do that, but I'm going to give them to him after the tournament so he can't use them and beat me with them. Okay, guys, I appreciate it, and we'll see what we can get into next week. Tim, glad you're on here watching. I hope I see you up to Burr Oak at the 29th. Yeah, March 29th. We got a couple Mondays before that, but March 29th, the Athens County will be at Burr Oak for their first club tournament. So, everybody that's in the club or want to join, it ain't too late to join. You can still show up and fish it. So, join the club and fish. Well, guys, I appreciate it again, and I will see you guys next week. I may see if I can't get I got a couple other people I got in mind I might get on here. So it'll be hard to beat this show tonight. So, okay, Tim, I'll see you up at Burr Oak on the 29th. And don't forget, guys, this weekend is the icebreaker, the 23rd of March at Burr Oak. You might see me up there with a different looking Phoenix. Still the same Phoenix, but it's going to look a little different. So, okay, guys, I'll see you there. Yes, Tim, I got your check. Yep, you're all good. Okay, guys, have a good night.